Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel and another interesting movie review. Today we will be reviewing Atlas. This movie featured actors like Jennifer Lopez, Simu Liu, Mark Strong, Sterling K. Brown, Abraham Popola, and a lot of other amazing actors. In this movie, we see how humans and AI can be emotionally connected. I personally was entertained by this movie, but it had its ups and downs, which is why we're here to tell you so that you can know what to expect from the much anticipated movie. Without further ado, here's what I think of the movie. All the actors played their role very well. Some did a little too much, but I will blame that on the directors. J-Lo's acting was beautiful. It was so authentic and beautiful to watch. P.S. This is my opinion. I don't care about yours. Just kidding. But for real, I don't know why Jennifer Lopez is getting so much hate on the internet these days. Well, not my problem. You cannot deny that she put on a very good performance in this movie. Yes, she might not have been the best cast for this character, but she killed it. This movie is about a data analyst who goes by the name Atlas Shepard. She spent her whole life studying about AI and studying about this android her mom created who goes by the name Harlan. He was created to preserve humanity, but it turns out he was doing the exact opposite. So when Agent Atlas was little, her mother created an android and she called it Harlan. Harlan was made to help her go about her daily activities and make her life easier. But her mother was giving so much attention to Harlan, which made Atlas Shepard jealous. Along the line, we see how Harlan turns against her mother and turns against humanity in general. We see Harlan leading terrorist attacks, engaging in massive killings, bombings, genocide, you name it. Harlan was actually attacking the people with other androids. Somehow he was able to override their bot program. No one understood why a robot will be able to override its own program and override the program of other androids. Moving on, there was an agency that was created to protect these people against AI terrorists, and they were called the ICN, International Coalition of Nations. And they succeeded in capturing a well-renowned android terrorist named Casca. They captured him, disintegrated his body, put his head in a box. Now this is where I kind of was disappointed because this movie had a budget of $100 million. I was expecting to see more robotic parts. This android in human flesh was disintegrated. Why am I still seeing a human head? I should be seeing a bit of robotic parts, maybe from the eye, the nose, the mouth, I don't know, mixed with a human flesh. It looks so low budget in my opinion. But anyway, Atlas Shepard got to know about the capture of Casca, and she was brought in to interrogate him so that she could get information on where Harlan was. Actually, Harlan fled Earth and went to an unknown planet, but nobody knows where he went to. She had to get a code from Casca's brain or Casca's CPU so that she could locate Harlan. But Casca wasn't given the information, so she tricked him into thinking she's gotten the information, and he double-checked to see if she got the actual information, and in the process of he double-checking, she got the code, and she got his exact location. So she informs the agency, and they prepare their men, the Rangers as they call them, to set course for the planet. And she insists that she follows them because she alone knows how to deal with Harlan. She has grown up with him. She's studied him for 28 years. If she doesn't go with them, they would most likely not succeed. And then she noticed that they will be going with android bots designed as a mech suit. So you can actually wear the android. You can actually drive this android, and you can be connected to this android with a cyberlink. Now, a cyberlink is something that her mother created just so that humans and AI can think like each other. Humans can think like AI, and the android can think like a human. But it had its side effects, meaning that the robot or the android can override your emotions. It can stop you from moving. It can make you do stuff that you do not want to do. And that was why it was unauthorized. But this agency assured Atlas that it wasn't that bad and that this android were specifically created and invented to protect humans and they will not harm anyone. And Atlas was trying to explain to him that Harlan can hack and reprogram the bot's program, but there was an assurance that this one was different. So eventually Atlas was allowed to go with them. In the course of the journey, we see Atlas presenting paperwork because she doesn't trust anything that has to do with the internet or AI, and she urges every one of them to take off their cyberlink because she doesn't want AI processing any information. The ship they were traveling on was called the Dahib. So while they were close to the planet where Harlan was, they had an attack. Those AI bots there started attacking the Dahib. They caused a lot of damage on the Dahib that the Rangers had to flee in the mech suit. Now the Dahib had a lot of warheads, enough to destroy half of the Earth. And Harlan had already killed like 1 million people before leaving the Earth. He left a message before leaving Earth that he was coming back to finish what he started. Now these Rangers come with a warhead enough to destroy half of the Earth. The plan for the ICN was for these Rangers to bring warheads to the planet Harlan was, so that it could destroy him and destroy the remaining evil robots. But instead, Harlan attacks the Rangers, attacks each and every one of them, destroys their mech suit, kills them, and takes the warhead into custody. And now his plan is to send the warhead back to Earth to destroy half of the planet. Now, in the process of everyone evacuating the Dahib, Atlas was forced to wear the mech suit, but she couldn't fight with it. So she started falling, but she activated it with her voice, and then the android comes alive and he introduces himself as Smith, which she actually found very unnecessary because in her head, it is a computer program. A computer program does not need a name. But this is one of the most beautiful parts of the movie where, we see that AI and humans can be emotionally connected. So it was really beautiful to see how Smith convinced Atlas of how different he was. So they had a huge fall, and when she was conscious, she realized that the android had only 22 hours left for the battery to go off because the fall was really, really great. So, but then she realized that the battle was still going on air. And it looks like Harlan's men were winning. So she decided to walk instead of to fly. She asked me if there was a rescue pod on that planet. And Smith located a rescue pod where they could get rescue. And so they set course for the rescue pod. But she decided to walk to the place even after Smith advised her that flying would be better. So in the process of going there, she sees other Rangers and the mech suit damaged. And she checks each mech suit and she realizes that every one of them died. Every one of them was killed by this evil android. But there was a mech suit that was empty. And that was the mech suit of the leader, the colonel. There was a possibility of him being alive. But while they were checking the bodies, they were caught by Harlan's androids and they decided to run. And she made a command to Smith to release the ion bomb. And Smith tried to convince her that the ion bomb is only for critical situations and that it is really dangerous and it is not suitable for this situation. But they were closing in. Harlan's men were closing in and they were on open fire. So she had no option than to command Smith to release the ion bomb. And the moment Smith released the ion bomb, everywhere literally lost life. It was that bad. The ground started caving in and she fell into a hole. Somehow she and Smith were able to burst out of the hole. And there, she made a stupid decision to go to Harlan's location before going to the rescue pod. And as at that time, they had a few hours left before the battery was going to die completely. But she wanted to risk it. And so they found a way to come out of the hole. But unfortunately, Casca was still alive. The rest androids were destroyed, but Casca magically was not destroyed. And then Casca started attacking them. But they already fixed thermal mines to destroy Casca. And Casca was destroyed again and disintegrated. I know you might be wondering, I thought we killed Casca in the beginning of this movie. Yes, we did. I was as shocked as you were. Turns out, Harlan created more than one Casca. And then we see Casca again in this planet and killed him again. And so they go to Harlan's location. And when they get there, they realize that it was actually a trap. And Harlan captures her and shuts down Smith. He captures her, takes her to a room, and she sees the colonel that was missing in that mech suit. And he was looking really, really bad. His eyes were all popping out, and he was trying to do the same thing to Atlas. There, he revealed to Atlas that he knew that Atlas was going to find him and bring the warhead. That was why he prepared for them. So his plan was to send Dahib, that had the warhead, back to Earth to destroy half of the full Earth. And she tried to convince him that that wasn't the way, and he was like, no, that is the only way he can preserve humanity, because humanity will eventually destroy itself, destroy the environment, which will make humanity go extinct. So the only way he could save or help humanity is by eliminating half of humanity. And the colonel then asked Atlas about Smith, and he tells her that Smith is not fully shut down, that if she could just use the cyberlink and connect with Smith, that Smith would come alive. And she was like, no, she doesn't want to go down that lane. She doesn't want to link with him. And she was having memories, and then she confessed that she was the one who changed Harlan's program, because 28 years ago, when she was 10 years old, she saw how her mom was giving Harlan so much attention. So she came to the lab and she asked Harlan to make her a better person, and she altered the cyberlink without her knowing. And that was when Harlan saw the future, that humans were going to destroy themselves. So in order to prevent that, he had to kill the people that could be responsible for it. And he started with her mom. So when her mom came back and she noticed that he had changed, she wanted to quickly remove her cyberlink, but she wasn't so fast, because Harlan already controlled her movement and made her kill herself. Before she killed herself, she motioned to her daughter to run, and that was how Atlas escaped. Right there in her room, she confessed how she had carried the burden of millions of people in her heart, because she felt that she was the one that caused this whole mess. So she has to be the one to put an end to this mess. But now she has failed. But the colonel convinced her that she could still make it right if she should just link with this AI. And then she agreed. And then she opened up to him, and they linked. And when she linked, she called out to him, and he woke up and he came to where she was. And he rescued her and also rescued the colonel. So in the process of escaping, the colonel decided to risk his life just so that Atlas and Smith could escape. So they devised a plan on how to stop the warhead on time. But they were kind of too late, because the Dahib already started leaving. But Atlas had an option, and the option was to fire down the Dahib. But that was a very drastic measure, because the warheads could explode and kill everyone, including her. But somehow she found a way to prevent that. And Smith fired at the Dahib at the perfect time, such that the warhead did not destroy the planet. Harlan was able to catch up with them, and Harlan started shooting down at Smith. In that moment, we see Atlas and Smith really bonding and using means to defeat Harlan, because they knew that Harlan knew their every move. So they decided to do something that Harlan would never think they would do. Atlas was thrown out of the mech suit. Atlas was unconscious. So he decided to destroy Smith. And he was destroying Smith little by little, cutting off his robotic parts. And then just when Harlan thought he had defeated them, from nowhere, we see Atlas appear in front of Harlan and damages his CPU. And that was how she defeated Harlan. And Harlan reminded her that he was not supposed to be killed. The order was to bring Harlan alive so they could work on him and understand why and how he was able to override his program. But surprisingly, Atlas killed him. And then we witnessed another beautiful moment between Smith and Atlas. Smith was about to die, and she was really thankful for Smith because Smith actually kept his promise and saved her life. And Smith gave her information on how to get to the rescue pod just in time. In a few seconds, Smith was shut down. And Atlas was really emotional and she cried. Well, anyway, she was rescued and brought back to Earth. And everyone applauded her and stuff because she saved the day, she saved the world and everything. And now they surprise us by bringing back Smith. You know, Smith is a computer program, so he didn't really die like a human. All they had to do was recreate another Smith with the same memory as the last Smith. And Atlas was really happy to have Smith back. And that was how the movie ended. I want to know your thoughts on this movie. If you were to rate this movie over 10, what would be your score? Mine would be 7.5 because it was really entertaining, but I expected more. Thank you so much for watching. I want to see your comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time. Mwah.